Hey y'all, it's Miss Flores. So today we are going to continue practicing our order of operations with some extra problems and some Google slide activities. While we're doing our video lesson today, make sure that you've got a scratch sheet of paper handy so that we could do some problems together. So, like I just said, make sure you grab a sheet of paper or your math journal and do these questions along with me. So, when we're doing these problems, let's do this one together. And then the rest of them, you can pause the video, try it on your own on a scratch sheet of paper, and then check your work when I solve it. All right. So our first problem, we have nested parentheses. Nested parentheses means that we have parentheses inside other parentheses. So I've got parentheses 9 plus 5 close parentheses times 3 close parentheses again, plus 13 minus 3. So when we are solving, we have to remember PEMDAS, right? So my first step is to do parentheses, right? So my parentheses would be this. These outermost parentheses, right? Well, inside those parentheses, I have other parentheses. I have the 9 plus 5. So that is what I need to solve first, is 9 plus 5. Well, 9 plus 5 is 14. So then that ends those parentheses. So then I end up with 14 times 3 as my overall parentheses. So I still need to solve that. So I'll do 14 times 3. Well, 14 times 3, 12, carry the 1, 3, 4, end up with 42. So the whole parentheses end up being 42. So now I've got 42 plus 13, because I can't forget these, plus 13 minus 3. So I did my parentheses. We ignore exponents. Remember, we don't do that till 6th grade. So multiplication and division would be next. I don't have any multiplication and division. So now I'm going to go on to my addition and subtraction. We add and subtract from left to right. So I'm going to do 42 plus 13 first, then minus 3. Well, 42 plus 13 is 55. So I have 55, and then minus 3. 55 minus 3 is going to be 52. So 52 is my final answer. So make sure that you are working from the most inward parentheses out if you've got nested parentheses. A lot of these questions are going to have nested parentheses today. Let's look at the next question. All right, for our next question, go ahead and pause here so that way you can try to work it out on your own and then play it when you're ready to go over your answer. So when I'm solving, I have to remember, write PEMDAS on every problem, right? So that way we do not forget our order of operations. Easiest way in order to have a visual reminder of your order of operations. So my first thing I'm going to look at is my parentheses. I've got parentheses here, right? So I'm going to look at these parentheses. But inside these parentheses, I've got other parentheses. So I've got 15 divided by 5 plus 4. So when I'm doing my innermost parentheses, my 15 divided by 5 plus 4, I still have to follow order of operations, right? So inside those parentheses, I'm going to do my multiplication and division first before I do my addition and subtraction, right? So I'm going to do my 15 divided by 5 first. Well, 15 divided by 5 is 3, right? And then I'm going to do 3 plus 4. Well, 3 plus 4 is 7. So now my parentheses, because I can't forget this 4, my parentheses now become 4 plus 7. Well, 4 plus 7 is 11. So my whole parentheses, this whole parentheses right here, ended up coming out to 11. So now I'm going to do 11 minus 6. I can't forget that minus 6. So 11 minus 6. Well, 11 minus 6 is equal to 5. So 5 is my final answer. Let's look at our next one. So on all these problems, remember, pause it, work them out on your own, see what you get, and then check your work along with me. All right. Make sure to write PEMDAS on the side. Don't ever forget it. Always write it on the side, and you will never forget your order of operations. All right, so first thing is always parentheses. I've got parentheses right here, but inside those parentheses, I've got 2 sets of parentheses. So I've got to do both of those parentheses before I move forward. So I've got to do 18 plus 2 and then 24 divided by 4. Well, 18 plus 2 is 20. 24 divided by 4 is a math fact. That is 6. So now my overall parentheses now became 20 plus 6. And 20 plus 6 is 26. So my whole parentheses, this whole parentheses, ended up being 26. But I can't forget my times 5, so I've got 26 times 5. Well, what's 26 times 5? Let's do it. 26 times 5. 130. So my answer ends up being 130 as my final answer. Let's look at the next one. All right, so now remember, before you pause it, remember this line means to divide, right? Fractions also are division problems. So when we're dividing, what I have to do is I have to solve the entire top. My entire top, I have to solve that first. Then I solve the bottom. And then whatever I get, I'll do top divided by bottom. So whatever's on top divided by whatever's on bottom. So remember that. So pause here so you can work on it. And then we will come back and you can watch the steps that I follow through to check your work. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite my top part of my expression. Oops. So I can work it out. So 12 divided by 2 plus 17 plus 4 times 4. All right. Don't forget PEMDAS. Parentheses. We skip exponents. Multiplication and then division, and then addition and subtraction. All right. So I've got to look at my parentheses first. I've got a couple sets of parentheses. I've got these, 12 divided by 2. And then I've also got these. So my whole problem is basically parentheses. But inside my second set of parentheses, I've got parentheses in here. So I've got to do those first. So 12 divided by 2 is 6, right? Well, inside my 17 plus 4 parentheses, 17 plus 4 is 21. So now these outermost parentheses, we solved that, right? So that goes away. So now I have parentheses 21 times 4. Close parentheses. So let's figure out what that is. 21 times 4. 84. So that whole thing would be 84. So now my problem ends up being, I can't forget about this 6, right? So I end up with 6 plus 84. Well, what's 6 plus 84? That is 90. So 90 is not my final answer, right? So let's just erase this. Remember, we are not done yet. The top was 90 over, and then the bottom. I've got 3 times 3. Well, 3 times 3 is 9. So I end up with 90 over 9. So remember, that line means dividing. So I really have 90 divided by 9. Well, what's 90 divided by 9? 90 divided by 9 is 10. So our final answer would be 10. All right, real quick, before we start this next problem, I want to tell y'all the secret code for our video lesson today. The secret code for our video lesson today is going to be water. Water. W-A-T-E-R. Water. That is our secret code for the day. That is what you're going to put in the question on your assignment today for what is the secret code of the video lesson. It is water. So don't forget to put that in. Write that down real quick. Water is the secret code. All right, let's get back to our questions. Remember, pause it, work it out, then play it to check your work. So, cannot forget, PEMDAS. P-E-M-D-A-S. Parentheses first. We skip exponents. Multiplication and division next, from right to left. Addition and subtraction last, from right to left. I'm sorry, from left to right. My bad. How we read. We do it in the same order we read. So if I've got addition, and then I'm going to do all my addition and subtraction from left to right, it'd be left to right. That way. All right. So let's look at our problem. So my first step is always parentheses. I've got this whole group of parentheses, right? But in that, I've got to do even more parentheses. So I'm going to do my innermost parentheses. So I've got 13 minus 4, and then I've got 16 divided by 2. Well, 13 minus 4 is 9. 16 divided by 2 is 8. So now my parentheses become 9 minus 8. Well, 9 minus 8 is equal to 1. So my whole parentheses, this whole thing, became 1. But I can't forget my plus 3, right? So now I have 1 plus 3. 1 plus 3 is equal to 4. 1 plus 3 is equal to 4. All right, well, only 2 more problems before we start discussing our assignment for today. All right, our next one, 15 divided by 3 plus 17 minus 3 times 5. So pause it here, work it out, then play it again to see what you got, or to see if your answer is correct. So, cannot forget, parentheses, skip exponents, multiplication and division, addition, subtraction. All right, first step is always parentheses. Look at your parentheses. I've got 15 divided by 3 in parentheses. I've also got the other half of my problem written in parentheses. But in those parentheses, I still have to follow PEMDAS. I still have to do them in order. So I should always look for parentheses inside my parentheses and do those first. So I've got 15 divided by 3, which is 5. So those parentheses are done. Inside my other side, I have 17 minus 3 first. 17 minus 3 is 14. So now inside my whole parentheses, because that's been done, I now have 14 times 5. Well, what's 14 times 5? $70. So my whole parentheses came out to 70. So I can't forget my 5 on the other side. We had 5. Now my last operation is that addition. So I have 5 plus 70. 5 plus 70 is equal to 75. So 75 is my final answer. All right, let's look at our last one. We've got another one, right? Remember, this line means to what? Divide. So our last step is going to be dividing whatever we got for the top by whatever we have in the bottom. So I've got to solve my top first, then solve the bottom, then I divide top by bottom. So the top is, make sure to pause it here if you want to work it out, and then play it again to see if your answer is correct. So I've got 4 plus, parentheses, 10 divided by 2 minus 3 plus 2. All right, so PEMDAS, parentheses, first. We ignore exponents because we don't have them yet. Multiply and divide from left to right is next. Add and subtract from left to right is last. All right, so first off, I gotta look for my parentheses. I've got parentheses here, right? But inside those parentheses, I have more parentheses. So I've got 10 divided by 2 minus 3. So inside those parentheses, I've still got to follow PEMDAS. Well, I'm going to do my multiplication and division before I do my addition and subtraction, right? So I'm going to do 10 divided by 2 first. 10 divided by 2 is 5. And then I get 5 minus 3. 5 minus 3 is 2. So this whole part of my problem became 2. So now I've got 4 plus 2 as my outermost parentheses. 4 plus 2 is equal to 6. So my entire parentheses, this whole thing, ended up being 6. But I can't forget about my plus 2. So now I have 6 plus 2. Well, 6 plus 2 is equal to 8. So 8's not my final answer. 8 is, let's get rid of that. 8 is the top, right? Our top was equal to 8. So now I have 8 over whatever 36 minus 32 is. Well, 36 minus 32 is 4, right? So now I have 8 over 4. But remember, this line, that line was dividing. So it's really 8 divided by 4. Well, what's 8 divided by 4? 8 divided by 4 is 2. So my final answer is going to be equal to 2. All right, y'all, here is your assignment for today. We've got a Google slide activity all about order of operations. So first off, on our second slide, we have what PEMDAS is, right? And in the orange boxes, you are going to tell me what those letters stand for, right? What are we solving for? What order are we doing it? So what does P stand for? What does E stand for? M, D, A, and S. On our third slide, we have expressions with parentheses and then expressions without parentheses. So you're going to solve it without the parentheses over here. So whatever 3 times 4 plus 2 is, you will type that in this box. But now over here, I have the same numbers, the same operations, but now I've got parentheses. So remember, parentheses are done first before anything. So that will change your answer, and you're going to put its answer over here in this box. And then why are our parentheses important? Why or why not? Why, do they change your answer? Do they not? Why do you think parentheses are important? On our fourth slide, what went wrong? So they show the steps and the answers that they've gotten to 3 different problems. You are going to tell me what step did they do incorrectly. So I'm going to do this one together for us real quick. So 3 times parentheses 6 plus 4 close parentheses minus 2 times 4. So they, looking at my second step, they solved the 6 plus 4. So they did parentheses first, which is great, and they got 10. So then in our next step, we now have 3 times 8 times 4. So it looks like they did 10 minus 2 before they did their multiplication. Remember, in order of operations, I do parentheses, then I multiply and divide from left to right. So my multiplication should have come first, and that is why they got the answer wrong. So for my, for what went wrong, I would type that they did subtraction before multiplication. And that's it, right? That is what went wrong in that problem. They didn't follow the order of operations. They did our subtraction before multiplication. So y'all are going to do the same thing for these questions. You're going to answer what went wrong in our second question and what went wrong on our third question. Our next slide, we have some fill in the blanks. So we've got our operations here, and we have got 4 squares. So these blue will go with this blue problem, these red will go with the red problem, and the green will go with the green problem. So you are going to solve to figure out how would I get 16. So there's going to be a lot of trial and error on these questions. So let's go ahead and do the blue one together. Well, let's think about it. I'm trying to figure out something times 16, or I'm subtracting 2 numbers, adding, and then multiplying to get 16. So remember, we do our multiplication first. So let's think about it. Maybe 4 times 3. Let's see. So there's going to be a lot of just dragging, trying, and seeing what's going to work out the best. So let's see. Maybe... All right. So let's try this. We've got 9 minus 5 plus 4 times 3. So in order of operations, I do my parentheses. I don't have any parentheses though, right? So then I'm going to do my multiplication division from left to right before I do my addition and subtraction from left to right. So my multiplication is going to be this first, right? My 4 times 3. Well, 4 times 3 is 12, right? So now I'm left with 9 minus 5 plus 12. Well, 9, and so now I do my addition and subtraction from left to right. 9 minus 5 is 4. 4 plus 12 is 16, right? So that checks out. That is the correct order. Honestly, that's lucky. I just arranged them how I thought would make the most sense. So that's what y'all are going to do on the next two. So you're going to arrange these numbers, try solving it, and think about, think about the order that you're putting these numbers in and what's going to make the most sense to get these, to get your answers. On our on our sixth slide, we have some Mad Libs. I don't know if y'all have ever done Mad Libs, but so there's a few different things that you're going to be able to choose what you want to type, and then the other ones you're going to solve. So like, our story says one day, famous man's name. So you get to put whoever you think is famous that you want to put here, was walking down the road and came across this many. So you'll have to stop. So you'll have to solve it. Furry, and then whatever type of animal you want. I would probably choose an animal that has fur. He told them to take him to their leader. Once he met their leader, he asked for this many. So you'll have to solve using order of operations. Little types of dessert. So whatever type of dessert you would want to put there. So I saw that many little desserts. The leader quickly gave him what he asked for, but in return, the leader wanted, you'll have to solve that many, sticky, and then whatever type of candy you want. He smiled and stuck out his hand to make a deal. The leader stuck out her hand and they shook in agreement. Both parties walked away happily. So you're going to pick whatever types of, the nouns for your Mad Libs, and then you're going to solve for the number. And then our last one, you are decoding the joke. So our joke is, what did 0 say to 8? So you have to solve all 8 of these problems using order of operations, and you're going to put the letter in the correct spot. So let's do the first one. We said 7 times 20 minus 15. So if I'm doing order of operations, I'm going to do parentheses first. So I'm going to do 20 minus 15 first. Well, 20 minus 15 is 5, right? So then I have 7 times 5. Well, 7 times 5 is 35, right? So that means B, our box for B, is going to go in the box above the space that says 35. So B would go right here. And then you're going to do the remaining 7 and figure out, what did 0 say to 8. And so that is our assignment for today. All in all, you have 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 problems, but honestly, and then labeling your PEMDAS chart, but that shouldn't take long. So 20 problems. We will go over some of them on our video, on our Google Meet when we meet later today. These questions should not take you too long because these ones are kind of fast and kind of easy. The ones that might take you a little bit longer will be the, filling out our blanks, putting these in whatever order is going to correctly give you your answer, and then maybe the ones on slide 7 might take you a little bit longer. So make sure that you are finishing your assignment by midnight tonight, and let me know if you have any questions, and I will see y'all later. Have a great day, guys. Bye.